And on the US tech here, we have been witnessing a choppy situation here since the beginning of the week. And excuse me. At the beginning of the week, we saw our price action started at around the 13,150 level here after a huge bearish gap here that we saw here, and then price action dropped to the downside into the $13,070 level, which happens to be our support line for this week. And if you look at what has been happening in this market in the last 3 days, you will see how price action has consistently found buy pressure around the $13,070 level to confirm a beautiful support line around that area. And with the resistance line sitting at a 13,150, you know that whatever situation, whenever we have this kind of situation, we want to see price action either break out of the resistance line for trading opportunity or the breakdown of the support line for selling opportunity. And prior to the our live session yesterday, we already cited the breakout of the structure, and I told us all that those who missed out on this opportunity might likely want to be part of this move only if we see price action either retest into the 13,190 or the 13,150 level, where I actually said that we want to be seen by pressure resume above either of the structure to give us a confirmation that we can be going bullish on this one. But one thing we noticed when we scaled down to a lower time frame is that we really didn't see that buy pressure actually spring out of the 13,150 as we saw price action break down the 13,150 with a sign that sellers might likely come in at that point in the market. And with that situation here, we have seen our price drop significantly to the downside, coming back into the support line at a 13,170, and in the last 24 hours we have been witnessing buy pressure from that area. And with the situation we have here, how do we intend to plan ourselves ahead of the New York session today? Well, it's a simple setup we have here, but the first thing I would like to acknowledge at this point is first of all the bearish trend line. And when I connected the series of lower highs here, we have this beautiful bearish trend line which emphasized some level of seller strength in this market, though we had a breakout happen here yesterday, but as you can see, price immediately dropped back below the bearish trend line, and then we saw price move to the downside. But the buy pressure here appeared to have been stopping sellers from getting further to the downside. Now, there is one thing about this structure that makes me think that we might be in for a sell momentum for today. And but further buttressing that is the bearish trend line. Now, if you zoom out of the current structure and take a look at the impulsive move that got us to this point last week, you will see that a retracement phase seems overdue with this current structure. And to further buttress this, you will see how the structure around here appears to be transitioning into a reversal pattern, which closely looks like a head and shoulder pattern at this point. Let me give you a visual representation of what I'm talking about. So we have the right shoulder somewhere around here, sorry, the left shoulder, we have the head somewhere around here, and then we have the right shoulder somewhere around here, where the $13,070 level, which happened to be the support line for this week, might likely turn out to be the neckline of that reversal pattern. But at this point in time, this reversal pattern is not yet valid, as we still need a breakdown of the neckline of that reversal pattern to give us a confirmation that truly this is going to be a reversal move, where a retest of that structure will definitely be welcoming selling opportunity in this market. And this is what we might be tending towards for today on the USTEC. So we shall be waiting for price action to break down the $13,070 level. We are selling pressure identified around that area on our lower time frame. We'll be welcoming selling opportunities in this market. And before I close the US tech, I think it is appropriate that we take a look at the daily time frame, or a much more higher time frame, to see what is really going on around here, so that we can sync whatever we have on the daily time frame with what we have on the 1 hour time frame, to have a well-informed decision ahead of the New York session today. So permit me to scale up a little into the daily time frame. Let's have an holistic point of view of what is really happening here. Then we shall come back and make a final decision for today on the 1 hour time frame. Now, looking at the daily time frame here, remember we acknowledge the fact that price action has been bullish since the beginning of the year, and to further buttress this is this ascending channel that you can see on my screen right now, after we connected a series of higher highs and a series of higher lows in this market. Now, the breakout of the 12,800 level last week's trading session was a beautiful signal that we might be going bullish in this market, after breaking out of a very significant strong selling niche in this market, which has lasted over 7 months in this market. Now, with the breakout of the structure here, we all know that from a technical standpoint, whenever price action breaks out a key structure like this, we expect that one point in time price is likely going to come back, do a retest of the structure that was broken, where the appearance of buy pressure will incite another wave of bullish momentum into that our TP target zone that we have here. And one thing we said during the live session yesterday is that we are going to be looking at how monitoring how participants in this market will be reacting to that area here at the $13,200 level, to decide if we are actually going to be buying at that point or selling at that area. As there are two possibilities that could happen here. We could either see a trend continuation pattern around this area to incite a trend continuation to the upside, or we could see a reversal pattern around that area to incite a retracement back into the structure that was broken before another second wave of a bullish momentum will happen in this market. And with the look of things here, and coupled with the potential reversal pattern we identified around this area on our 1 hour time frame, we might likely see price action drop to the downside, probably into the 12,800 level, where, depending on how price action reacts to that 12,800, will now determine if we are going to be adding more sell position if price action breaks down that structure to the downside, or get ready to buy if price action starts finding buy pressure above the 12,800. So in the meantime, we don't want to be too ambitious here. So if the sell pressure continues, where the reversal pattern we identified on the 1 hour time frame becomes valid, when the breakdown of the neckline happens, we want to be having our TP target at around the 12,800 level, which will be dovetailing to about 250 to about 270 pips in profit, if that is going to be the case. So right now, let's scale back down into the 1 hour time frame, and our center of focus will be the trading activity around this area since the beginning of the week. So going back down into the 1 hour time frame, so with the information we have gathered there on the daily time frame, we scale back down into the 1 hour time frame, and at this point, I am of the opinion that we might be seeing a breakdown of the $13,070 level today. And I'm of the opinion also that majority of the participants in this market are actually looking forward to the macroeconomic events coming up today, and that is why we are witnessing this choppy situation that has been happening here since the beginning of the week. So personally, I will suggest that we have a sell stop order right below the 13,070, with the hopes of catching that move all the way, though there could be some retracement phases around that area, so you want to be very patient. But if you think you want a retracement phase to happen before you join, then it's okay. But if you don't mind, you can have your sell stop order and wait for the retracement phase to happen, and then if it happens, then we want to be adding more position to our existing trade. So stop loss should be somewhere right above that bearish trend line, which could be dovetailing to about 70 to 75 pips stop loss. So let's see how that plays out, and hope that price action will continue to the downside. And remember, on the daily time frame, we already identified a TP target zone around the 12,800. So let's see how price action plays out in that regard. Now, in as much as we're looking out for selling opportunities in this market, it's our culture that we also keep tabs of the potentials of the opposite perspective, and which is the bullish momentum here. And if we take into consideration what has been happening here for quite a while now, I think on the 4 hours time frame, this was buttressed clearly on the 4 hours time frame. So let's quickly run through the 4 hours time frame, which I would like us to see here. So on the 4 hours time frame, we have an ascending channel already figured out here, where price action has consistently formed higher highs and higher lows. And if you look at the structure here, you can see that we might likely be seeing price come back into the support line of that ascending channel that we see here. So let's see what happens from this current structure, and this bearish trend line here will continue to be our guide for trading activity for the later part of this week. So back into the 1 hour time frame, let's look at this. So this is what we are looking at. So we are going to be looking forward to see how price will react to the support line of that ascending channel to decide what our next line of action will be. So a breakdown of that support line will welcome selling opportunities here. So for the other perspective here that I was saying, well, I want to see a breakout of the trend line happen. We are not jumping right away. We want to see retest of structure. We want to see buy pressure above this level. That is, sellers find it difficult to break back below the trend line. Then the breakout retest of structure will welcome buy position in this market. So in that regard, we shall be using the resistant line for the week as a yardstick for buying opportunity in this market, where a breakout of that 13,150 will be welcoming a buy position in this market. So let's be on standby for either of these opportunities to happen, so that we can join any of this potential move to either the upside or to the downside here. So we are at the equilibrium, so we require a lot of patience here to be part of this move to the upside or downside in that regard. So that is that on the USTEC for today.